Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Lord Hudson, and this is Parkitect. And today we're gonna build a station in Roman style, and this is gonna be the start of our Roman area within the park. And we have the train running around with two stations in kind of Alpine style. And we're gonna create a third station here in what's going to be hopefully a Roman style. And as you can see, lots of arches. I think that's the key for Roman style, is lots of arches. And I found out that if you place an arch on top of the tunnel, that the tunnel head comes through it, and it just, you can't color the tunnel itself. Unfortunately, they may do that later on in an update, but for now it's not there. There is a shitload of arches on this side, but there's a little bit of a room area issue on the other side, which I'll have to tackle later on. I'm just right now placing out the outline of the station and bringing in the actual new station for the train and getting people off the train. And by connecting it up pretty much straight away, I can reopen the ride and a guy with a gigantic hat steps out. And I actually made an error here that I drew the path to the existing path, which basically means that your peeps will walk. They don't recognize the wall, so they go straight through it. I didn't see it right here. I corrected it later on, and that's just something that you have to take into account when doing internal pathways. You can build a wall, but your peeps don't see that. This is the first time I used columns, and in the Pantheon build that will be on YouTube later on, I use a lot more columns. This is basically my first time using that and practicing with it just to get that Roman look. And I've learned with this game, as you do something, you will discover new things. Here I was trying to see if we have any kind of slab that we could use to be placed on top of the pillars. I couldn't find anything right now. I might find something later on, but not in this build. Again, arches. I love those arches, and those are just open arches with a wall placed behind it, and that just works. You can place walls on top of each other. As long as there is an area protruding, it will come out. You can create these blind arches. You don't have to use them. They're not dedicated for pathways or stuff like that. It's all open. Second tier comes on quite easily. And of course, and I do the floors. They're not necessary. I just like to have them there as a visual aid, knowing where the floor ends. It makes the orientation of levels a lot easier. A little experiment with the border, I didn't like it. It broke it up too much. So I stopped that. I did add another border on top of it, which just breaks the arch a bit, that it doesn't look like it's an open arch where you can walk through. About 99% of this station is just cosmetics. And this is the iron fence that, as far as I know, it's in the vanilla game. If it's not, you can just download it through the Parkitect Nexus. I would definitely recommend looking up the Parkitect Nexus and getting some extra stuff in there, because the more you have, the more you can build. It's as simple as that. And it also just requires a little bit of imagination. And here again, lots of pillars. I like the double pillars. The pillars themselves don't snap right to the center, even if you use Alt and 9, which is the smallest grid size that you can have. It just doesn't snap to the center of the walls, which means it's always slightly off center to an arch. And getting a double pillar in there solves that problem, and it actually looks really good. It's not really Roman, it's more a medieval style, but this is not a hyper realistic game, and I think it works really well. Get the double pillars in there. It definitely gives it an ancient feel, an antique feel. And it's so damn simple. And in this entire build, I basically just use one palette of colors. It turned out a little bit white, and might have used some other sets just to offset it a little bit. I do change the colors of the roof tiles later on. Because it's very bright right now. A little bit of accentuation on top. Just the pillars are sticking out of that. And this is something that I might do differently the next time, just lowering the pillars slightly. But changing the color of the roof tiles just broke it up. And just the top roof tiles, not the internal roof tiles. Does break it up a little bit more. I'm quite happy with the way it looks. It looks very grand. Very purposeful building. Of course, Romans didn't have trains, so there is no historical train station there. And here I found my mistake. The pathways continue, and it just looks horrible. Having 4 gates next to each other doesn't really work. The solution that I had is just removing one path and adding 2 gateways. Again, it's not very symmetrical, but I didn't feel like rebuilding the entire thing at the last moment, because I'm pretty much finished with the actual building, and I'm just creating some little beautifications on the outside. Tie it in. It's next to the this side is next to the haunted mansion area, and it has one of the castle gates, so it has to tie in somehow, and a nice little garden and a walkway with the Roman pillars and some non-Roman trees, far more Louis XIV style, but they do kind of work. Tried to do some reed there, wasn't satisfied with it, and I decided to go with a border, as that's something that I think is far more Roman. Have a marble border around the water. And just adding a few more pillars. You can never have too many pillars for a Roman style. Pillars and arches, that's in my mind pretty much it. And another little bit of water there. Again, the marble border just makes it a little bit tighter. This looks a little bit better. The lilies just break up the water a lot, and it, in my mind, it's something that makes the water more dynamic than the blue with the white edge around it. There we have our little station at the main entrance. I went for these metal benches at first, but later on I decided that the stone bench just works better. It looks more Roman. Of course, unfortunately, destroyed some of the walls and pathways, but that's an easy fix. This game is so easy just to remove stuff and add stuff, and it doesn't really matter. There we have our lovely station. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.